So fun. Hello, everybody watching out there. This is a real treat because I am not interviewing anybody today. In fact, I'm handing the reins to my friend Julie Spear, who is the executive managing director of eWomen Santa Barbara chapter. Thank you so much, Julie, for being willing to interview me today.
Oh, thank you for offering to do this and to taking us to a whole new level here with Alive. It's really exciting, so I appreciate it. We are very excited to have you be our featured speaker next week at our eWomen chapter. I wanted to ask you a few questions and let our chapter guests and members really know a little bit more about you and what's to come. So uh, why don't we start with, who are you?
Who am I? Well, I think that's a loaded question, Julie. I think for today's purposes, it might be a fun fact to know that many years ago, I was a shy person who stuttered many moons ago. And as a child, I would have never dreamed to be a motivational speaker. But the truth is, I found the courage many years ago to say yes when fear was telling me no. And I asked if, oh my goodness, this is only live on TV. Can you hear my puppy Pepper? She is
I
barking
sure can.
with a fear of vengeance. I'm going to get the cute little bugger and make sure she
Okay.
doesn't keep barking. Stand by. Only
Okay.
live on our
This is
stream.
live.
I know. Live with Pepper. Pepper. Oh, Pepper, you're the cutest. You're going to be famous now. That's it.
Oh, look at Pepper.
Look at Pepper.
Oh, Cake is going to be jealous.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's a sweetie. And she
oh.
loves greeting anybody who comes to the door. Okay.
Will she be coming to Santa Barbara with you?
Oh my goodness. If I could keep her in my purse and she fit, I'd take her everywhere. That's how much I love
I bet.
her. I am a dog lover. I should definitely not forget that part. And I know many people watching are too. You get me.
Yes.
Anyway, I was a long departure from being a professional speaker, but two things happened. I was invited to audition to be a morning anchor in my high school, if you could imagine.
Oh.
We had a really cool setup and a very large school with video cameras in the studio and then TVs in every single room in the school. And in the morning, they did a broadcast. And I thought that whoever invited me must have been crazy. I was shaking with fear during my audition process. And it was like a miracle happened. I looked into the camera and my stutter was gone. It was like a magic, unbelievable thing. And I literally never stuttered since. So I always tell people you have to say yes when fear is telling you no and get out of your comfort zone, because I literally never would have guessed in my wildest dreams that my full-time career would be professional public speaking. And I'd also like to share with you my why, if I may. And the reason why I do what I do is probably more interesting. I had an assembly also in high school when I was 14 where we had a speaker that literally changed the course of my life. He said less than 1% of the world sets goals. So if you set goals, you'll be 99% ahead of the rest of the world. Well, goal number one for me was get the heck out of freezing cold Philadelphia, where I grew up. And as like in miracle fashion, I set a lot of goals and eventually wound up out here in the West. But what I realized was if somebody could say one thing, literally that was one sentence that impacted me in such a big way, I wanted to be a goal slayer and be ahead of 99% of the world. And when I was committed and focused, it unlocked all these beautiful doors. And I just thought to myself, I would love to make a living lifting other people.
I love that.
Yes, was my why. And it remains the same today. Like if I can help one person find the courage to dig deep and run down a dream, I'm all in.
Well, and that's exactly aligned with eWomen's values. You know, we lift people as we climb. And so it fits just perfectly. And it's exactly why we've asked you to come speak at our chapter, which let's talk about that. What exactly are you going to be speaking to our chapter about?
Well, thank you. So it occurred to me during my career that people can speak about a lot of things, and there's so much value out there. And I love the variety of what many motivational speakers focus in on. But for me, the magic is in finding courage. And when we do find our courage, we realize as business owners, and women are all business owners. I just love this audience so much because we all need the same thing. And what I have found is true across the board is you need to be seen and heard in order to be hired or sell a product. You can't hide. So what I've found has been really valuable is touring around with one of my more relevant but very, very popular discussions. And that's, you've got to stand out against the competition. And I call that your shine. It's your undeniable, very special, unique thing that you bring to what you do. And I think people struggle with that a lot, honestly, Julie. I mean, there's so many, if you think about it, coaches in the world, or even just, for example, mortgage brokers, people in the real estate industry. But what you will never, ever struggle with is if you find the courage to speak up and differentiate yourself just a little bit. You find your people, and your people will find you, right?
It's true. You need to have that spark, that one thing that makes you different. As a recruiter, that's what I look for. What's different about this particular person? Why you? I'd like to know why you feel that you are so passionate about this subject.
Yeah,
Why?
I think, it's interesting you say that. I think that I see the opposite. I don't think anybody ever wakes up and says, I think I'll be mediocre today. But the truth is, so many of us kind of get stuck in what I call living our lives on automatic. And studies will show that that is really normal. It's quite common it's not a conscious decision to kind of be stuck in the same routines or whatever, but it's human nature. And so it goes against human nature to say, it's okay to be going through the motions, but there's a whole other level that I remind people that they can not only break out of this pattern of feeling in a little bit of stuck energy, or it might be just admitting that they're not going all in for their goals and dreams, right? There's always a little bit that we don't intentionally hold back on, but we hold back, right? So I invite people. I think what's really fun about my talk is I have this 5-step formula I've developed after working with thousands and thousands of clients over the years, because you just see the same patterns that helps people unlock really understanding how they can stand out pretty quickly against the competition if they're really willing to, as I like to say, raise their game. And shine. I call it bringing the shine factor into everything that you do. And it's fun. It doesn't have to be hard. In fact, that's one of the key components. Is I think it's sort of heavy for some people who feel stuck, like, how can I pull myself out of it? And I always say, well, the first thing is, are you having fun? Are you committing to making space for having fun in your work and life? It's so important.
It's so important. Well, how did you become a motivational speaker?
Interestingly enough, it was not easy. In fact, I think many of the juiciest things I do, have come through a lot of grit and determination. And not only was I inspired to do it when at a young age and give back, but I had to really do my homework. And I think it started with falling in love with listening to the best. So I don't know about you, but I have a few favorites. Brene Brown is one of my favorite public speakers. Mel Robbins is probably arguably the number one. Yeah.
I just went to a book signing in LA. It was amazing.
Yes. And I've heard Let It Go. Was that the book you got?
Yes. The Let Them Theory.
Let Them Theory. Is like game changing. I mean, how cool is it to come up with one concept and help millions of people? I love the beauty of being a speaker in the sense that there are some people, and it's very noble if you work one-on-one with individuals, but it's also extremely rewarding to know that you can be speaking to thousands on any given day if you're a speaker, and lift a room or motivate somebody to be really comfortable with getting uncomfortable. And I think that that's something we overlook a lot. So to answer your question, Wow. I mean, I had to persist and really be determined. I would say several years ago, I almost thought of giving up. It's very,
Mm.
very hard to do what I do. Less than 3% of the world is actually a paid professional speaker.
I did not realize
So,
that.
yeah, with that, it comes doing your homework. I'm a member of the National Speakers Association because they teach you the business. There's a big business behind speaking if you do
Mhm.
it in the way I do. And honestly, I think I'm very blessed to have had some amazing mentors through the years. Without them, I would not be here and be
That's
enjoying
so
what we've been
important.
through. Yes.
Well, that's amazing, and we cannot wait to hear you next week. Our chapter is ready for you, and we would love to be able to spend more time with you. And those that would like to join us, I know we have a link that we're going to share with you that you can come. There are still seats available. We're happy to have you in the room. We have our meetings from 11 a.m. to about 2 p.m. at the Glen Annie Golf Course, and we would love to see you there. And Meredith, we're really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. I know that the link has just been shared. Just for clarity, you can come in. A lot of people do come from out of the Santa Barbara area,
Oh,
and you welcome them,
absolutely.
right?
We welcome you from every area. We have people from Los Angeles. I've had visitors from Sacramento. I've actually had some people from out of state. Santa Barbara is a desirable place to come visit anyway, so why wouldn't you? But not only that, to just get out of your bubble and expand, whether or not you do business in the area or not, being around like-minded and people that are doing what you want to do, to learn and be mentored by people within our group. It's just the synergy we have is so exciting, and each meeting is different because we have a different group of people. And yes, we welcome other e-women from across the nation as well. And if you just want to know a little bit about it, what?
I was just going to say, and a few good men. I understand you welcome men
Oh, absolutely. We do. We call them emails, and those emails are always welcome. And we look forward to having them at the table too.
Thank you. It's an absolute honor. Thank you for inviting me, first of all. And secondly, I need to say I really treasure and love eWomen, and you are such a beautiful soul. So I'm excited to see my
Oh,
friends and make new friends next Wednesday morning. I am headed your way with sheer delight and
oh,
very, very fired up to help other people have the courage to speak up, stand out, and shine against the competition. Thank you, Julie, so much.
oh, thank you, Meredith. We look forward to it. We'll see you next week.
Can't wait. See you soon, everybody. And be sure to grab a seat if you'd like in the link in the chat. We'll be in touch.